And our Thursday night football brings us to O.co Coliseum in Oakland, California. Two teams that have been getting together since 1960 in the AFC West. It's the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. And as you take a look at the playoff picture in the AFC, wouldn't the Broncos love to move into that number 2 spot and assure themselves of home field advantage in the playoffs? That's what they're working for right now. Welcome to Oakland, everybody. Brad Nessler along with Mike Mayock. Right now, the Broncos have the longest winning streak in the NFL. Partner 7 straight games. They're 9-3. They've won 12 division crowns now. Tonight, Peyton Manning goes for his 12th 10-win season. They're rolling along. How good are they and how far can they go?
They go all the way. I mean, I think they're every bit as good as any team right now in the AFC, and they can compete for a Super Bowl. Now, I think it's kind of fun to compare this team in Denver with Peyton Manning's Super Bowl teams in Indianapolis. On the offensive side, the pass game's eerily similar. Why? Well, because Peyton got input in the pass game. And by the way, Demaryius Thomas is turning into a beast. The run game, even with the loss of McGahee, I think is better. Why? Offensive line is better. And on defense, I think they have a more complete defense than Indy ever had. So, yeah, I give you an emphatic yes, this team's getting better, and they can compete for a Super Bowl.
One team's on a winning streak. The Raiders, unfortunately, on a losing streak. They've lost 5 straight. They've got a first-year head coach trying to change the culture, and it's been tough.
Yeah, and Dennis Allen kind of joined philosophically at the hip with first-year general manager Reggie McKenzie. What are they looking for? Well, they're looking for tough-nosed, intelligent football players with a passion for the game. And Raider fans, it's going to take a little while. Now, in the short term, the return of Darren McFadden tonight really helps. First time back in 5 weeks. Peyton Manning's going to put points on the board, so McFadden, along with Carson Palmer, hope to keep count.
All right, well, before we kick it off, we check in with the third member of our team, Alex Flanagan. Alex?
Hey, Brad and Michael, it's been a very emotional week for Raiders head coach Dennis Allen. He lost his dad just days ago and is here tonight on the sidelines coaching the team. Grady Allen died quickly and unexpectedly of heart failure. He was 66 years old. Dennis Allen was able to be with his dad in his final hours. He returned here to be with his team on Wednesday. I'm told that he's guarded his emotions from the team, Brad, but I know that these players would like to get a win for him and for his dad, Grady Allen, tonight.
Why would they ever, Alex? Thank you. It's got to be very, very tough. It's tough enough coaching in the National Football League when things are going right. And when you have personal issues and a death in the family, tough night. And Dennis Allen has handled it as well as anybody could, I think, especially meeting with us yesterday when we said, Coach, we know you got better things to do. And he said it's part of the job and it's part of life. Well, Thursday night football is part of life. Sebastian Janikowski's got it teed up, and we're underway in Oakland. Trendon Holiday, a dangerous return man from a yard deep. And Holiday right up the middle and busted across the 30-yard line. 33-yard return and a good spot for the Broncos to start offensively as we take a look at how their season's gone. Started 2-3, but since they've been on a tear, came back, big deficit against the Chargers, the start of a 7-game winning streak led by that man. And at 9-3, the AFC West Division champs for the 12th time, and there's Peyton Manning's numbers. And he lines his guys up at the 32-yard line. Knowshon Moreno flanking Peyton in the gun. The first pass is complete out to his tight end Joel Dreesen, and a pickup of 5. Starting lineup. Here's how it looks up front. In front of Peyton Manning, who's been sacked only 16 times. Backs and receivers. Moreno in there with Willis McGahee out to a season-ending injury. There's the receivers led by Demaryius Thomas, who's become a big timer with number 18 throwing it to him. Second down at 5. Raiders are going to blitz. Moreno on a cutback, only got to the line of scrimmage. Nice job up front by Desmond Bryant, who's in for Richard Seymour at that defensive tackle spot. And there is the front. Bryant making the stop. Shaughnessy, their leading sacker, with only 3.5. That's been a problem. Miles Burris, excellent rookie with Gaither and Philip Wheeler. And in the back end, they've had some trouble at cornerback due to injuries. And that's been a big problem for their secondary. Opening third down of the ball game. Manning over the middle, almost intercepted. It probably would have been a touchdown by Tyvon Branch, and he dropped it.
you know, you've got to take advantage of opportunities when they give you the opportunity, because Peyton doesn't give you a whole lot of them. You got to finish.
Wow.
Holding. Defense. The 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
What could have been an interception going one way becomes a first down for the Broncos.
Yeah, and what happens is, look at that. It hits him right in the chest.
Wow. Right between the threes. So first down for the Broncos at the 42. Stretch play, Moreno. And O'Shawn got about 4 out of it. Desmond Bryant in on the stop again, and now we've got our first tussle of the night as Philip Wheeler's involved with Manny Ramirez. Ramirez, a new starter on the offensive front for the Broncos.
Yeah, he's played a lot of football for them, but right guard Chris Cooper was a late scratch for tonight's game because of an ankle injury.
Second down and 6. Manning. And that one thrown well behind Demaryius Thomas. And Demaryius was going one way, the pass was going the other.
And he got exactly what he wanted there. Peyton was throwing it to the outside shoulder because the safety, Tyvon Drance, was driving inside. Thomas has got to break that route off.
6th best in the NFL in their third down conversions. Broncos 3 wideouts to the top for Peyton. He looks that way. Comes back across the middle. First down on the run is Eric Decker. And Decker inside the 40 before they finally bring him down. Pickup of 16 on third down.
Yeah, and a lot of teams play Peyton Manning in cover 2-man, which means Decker's right here, 2 deep safeties. They know he's not a threat to run. Watch the move right here. Little jerk route. He hesitates, then extends. Easy throw and catch for Manning to Decker.
And for Decker, his 57th catch from Peyton Manning this year. First down at the 38. Hillman in the lineup for the first time at tailback, and the rookie doesn't go anywhere.
Christo Bilakidi, who's a rookie 6th-round pick from Georgia State, has become a little bit of a find for these guys. And, you know, this is a kid that came from nowhere. His father, he was born in Angola. His father was a diplomat. He played 1 year of high school football up in Canada. He's a little bit of a project, but Brad, good-looking football player.
Georgia State's only had a football program for 4 years. Second down at 10. Peyton Manning pointing out Philip Wheeler, 52, at his linebacker spot. Play action, not much of a play action. Peyton long on the sideline and incomplete. That one fell short, intended for Tammy, the tight end. Andre Carter got some pressure.
Yeah, they're playing Andre Carter in nickel situations over Shaughnessy. He's going to get the edge on the left tackle, Clady. Clady's hands are down, and you got to push him by the pocket. That's a really good job of the defensive end, a 12-year veteran, getting the edge using his hands to get to the quarterback.
Now they picked up 16 yards last time on their third down. Here's 3rd and 10. Tammy, the tight end, sets up in a slot. Clock winding down. Peyton, the quick throw out to Moreno. O'Shawn Moreno's got a first down. He's got a bunch more. All the way down to the 11-yard line. So Moreno out of the backfield got 27 on 3rd and 10.
And this has kind of been the downfall of Oakland's defense. Big plays. There's a bust here. Look at Moreno coming out. There's nobody to cover him. Linebackers are coming up the A-gap. Absolutely nobody anywhere near O'Shawn Moreno. And if you're going to do that with Peyton Manning, you might as well walk off the field because he's going to take it all night long.
Only the 10th catch of the year for O'Shawn Moreno, but the biggest of the year for him at the 12-yard line, first down. On the cutback is Hillman to the 7. Michael Huff knocked him off his feet there, but a pickup of 5.
You know, they picked up 2 tight ends in the offseason. Dreesen's kind of the blocking tight end. Watch him collapse the backside so Hillman can cut it back. Dreesen takes his man all the way down. There's the cutback. The rookie from San Diego State does a good job recognizing it, and that's a heck of a block by Joel Dreesen.
Second down at 4. The Broncos can actually get a first down at the 2. 10th play of the opening drive of the ballgame. Manning scans the field, fires to the end zone, touchdown, Denver. And it's Joel Dreesen, the tight end. There's touchdown pass number 30 of the year for Peyton Manning.
And Manning looked front side to the 3 receiver side, didn't like it, came all the way back where the tight end Dreesen and the running back Hillman were running a little 2-man route. An awful lot of confusion in that Oakland secondary.
Well, that's the way you want to open up the ball game on the road against one of your rivals. A 68-yard drive for a touchdown. Matt Prater for the point after. Up and good. Opening 4.5 minutes belongs to the Broncos. And at the end of that 68-yard drive, Peyton Manning a 6-yard touchdown pass. It's 7-0 Denver. Night Football is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. And by the all-new Kindle Fire HD. As you look at San Francisco across the bay, already 7-0 Denver.
You make it too easy here. Watch what happens when this safety rotates to the front side. Now it's 2-on-2 to the backside. Dreesen is one-on-one, man-to-man with Michael Huff. It's like basketball right here. He just breaks away, and that's way too easy. And Brad, on that particular drive, 3 or 4 of those big chunk yardages were either miscommunications in the secondary or bad technique. Peyton Manning will eat you alive.
Yep. Well, he got Dreesen on the first pass of the ball game, good for 5 yards, and the last pass of the drive, good for 6 yards and a touchdown. And for Joel Dreesen, his 5th touchdown catch of the year. Prater to kick. Mike Goodson just coming back after being out a few games with an ankle injury. Is deep to return, and he won't return this one. He'll take a knee. Carson Palmer bringing out the Raiders. Peyton Manning's already got a 7-point lead, and he's planning for more. Tomorrow on NFL Total Access, Houston Texans defensive end J.J. Watt joins us to talk about the big matchup on Monday with the Patriots. Also full previews of the most important Sunday games and the playoff implications involved. Catch NFL Total Access tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network.
And Brad, how about the Patriots the next couple of weeks? They host Houston, followed by San Francisco. We're going to find out a lot about all 3 of those teams.
Absolutely. Here's Carson Palmer and the Raiders for the first time from the 20-yard line. Straight drop to throw on first down. Across the middle and in and out of the hands of Darren McFadden, and he had a lot of green in front of him, but he didn't take the ball along.
Man, they got a one-on-one with a 37-year-old middle linebacker. You got to take advantage. Here's the middle linebacker right here, Keith Brooking. Great pickup, but not great in the pass game at this point in his career. McFadden beats him all day long. Catch the football, Darren.
McFadden's been out a month with a bad ankle too, and that jump stop to get through the line probably didn't help his ankle too much when he got out in that pass route.
I thought he looked pretty good on practice on Tuesday, as did Mike Goodson, his backup, who's missed the last couple of weeks.
Here comes a blitz on Palmer, and he's going to throw this one on the dirt. Von Miller applying the pressure as we take a look at the Raiders up front. Stefan Wisniewski, their center, was hurt earlier in the year, back and healthy, and that group is gelling a little bit more because of that. Backs and receivers, we mentioned McFadden back for the first time in a month. Marcel Reese has been tremendous as both a fullback and a running back. Moore, Hayward Bay, the wideouts, and Brandon Myers is their leading receiver, coming in with 69 catches on the year.
Yeah, Reese has been kind of an epiphany. 46 catches, jack of all trades, line him up anywhere.
The Raiders face a 3rd and 10 on their opening drive. Palmer steps up in the pocket, flips it out to the side. It's complete, but run out of bounds is Darius Hayward Bay after a pickup of 5, and they'll have to kick it away.
And Tony Carter, the defensive back on the coverage, a guy that was one of the last decisions that had to be made in training camp. And I think the coaching staff, when we talked to them last night, Brad, were real happy that they went with the 4th-year player from Florida State. What do they call him? Sticky?
Yeah.
Because of his man-to-man coverage abilities.
Trendon Holiday, as you saw, has already taken 2 to the house this year. 1 on a punt return, 1 on a kick return. Here, fair catch, I think, was signaled for. Maybe not.
No. That's a really good special teams play right there.
I thought near the end of that punt that he put his hand up. Let's take a look.
It's safety Mike Mitchell, 34. Watch him rip the ball right there. That's great timing. Wow.
Still, Carter covers it. Broncos keep it. Mike Trendon Holloway's either calling for a fair catch or he's treading water. I don't know which.
You know what he was? He was in the middle. And when you return punts and you want a fair catch, that arm's got to be up over your head and it's got to go from side to side. That wasn't even close to a real fair catch signal. And good job by Mike Mitchell playing through it.
But they kept the ball as they covered it. And now Peyton Manning and the offense starts at the 25-yard line. Draw play, Moreno. Knowshon got a yard. Philip Wheeler made the stop. A Georgia Tech tackle on a Georgia tailback.
You know, I think, Brad, if you start talking about how good's this Denver team, we touched on it in the open, and one of the things I think they have to do is continue to be efficient and maybe even more efficient in the run game. 4 yards a carry at a minimum because the pass attack is so good.
2nd down and 9. Manning over the middle, completes it to the 30 to Dreesen. A pickup of 4, his 3rd catch of this first quarter.
So, you know, Brad, when you have Peyton Manning and you're going to throw you're a pass-first team, you don't need to run the ball 100 times a game. You just have to be efficient in how you do it. So I worry more about yards per carry than I do how many yards they get in the game.
They've been great on 3rd down so far tonight.
56.
3rd and 5. Peyton goes down the middle, complete, and it's Decker for the first down out near midfield.
I mentioned earlier, teams really like cover 2-man. That means the safety's deep and man-to-man everywhere. Now, Decker's going to win against Huff. Huff's had a tough game so far. You got help deep. That's just a little double move, and Peyton reads it beautifully, throws it in between Huff and the safeties.
Quick snap. Moreno. There's the best run of the night for Denver as he takes it down near the 43-yard line.
You know, former first-round pick, right?
Yep.
You know, this is a guy with McGahee down, and McGahee is a workhorse. This is where Knowshon Moreno's got to kind of justify the status of being a former first-round pick. This is his opportunity. Came
back off a knee surgery. They wanted him to really heal up. He's been inactive a good part of the season, but they definitely need him now. And here he is again with flags down, and he got to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Tommy Kelly might have jumped off sides.
Yeah, and I think he brought Orlando Franklin with him. It should be on
Offside.
Kelly.
Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty is enough for a first down.
Kelly's going to jump right here. He's in the neutral zone. Clearly on him.
His 77th straight start tonight. He's been an alternate to the Pro Bowl the last couple of years.
Good football player when he plays. He likes to play against the pass, but so far this year, no sacks. Need a better push up the middle from him.
That's been the biggest problem for the Raiders. They come in with only 14 sacks. Von Miller alone for Denver has more than that. Up jump pass, a double jump by Peyton. Showing his vertical there, and a pickup of 4.
When you talk about his vertical, you could barely slide a dollar bill underneath his feet. I've seen this act before. He's as good as it gets sliding and moving. And look at, I've seen that move at the Peyton Manning or at the Manning Passing Academy. He can throw from any platform.
Picked up 4 when it looked like he might get sacked. 2nd and 6. Now he goes down the middle and he's got Tammy all the way down to the 15-yard line. A pickup of 19 more, and right now Peyton Manning's putting on a clinic.
Yeah, they really are, and Tammy's just going to run down in between the safeties. Gets on top of Wheeler right there, and now he sits in front of the safeties. Giordano can't get there. And what I like is when Peyton came in, he kind of identified players he was comfortable with, and the organization went out and got them for him.
First down at the 16-yard line. Play action. Peyton's going to go to the corner of the end zone. Broken up. Demarius Thomas, the intended receiver. Ron Bartell does a nice job over in the corner of the end zone.
Now Peyton's going to throw this at the back pylon, okay? He's going to throw it all the way back here after play action. Watch Demarius Thomas sprint for it. This is just 101, predetermined. I'm going to throw it at the back pylon and you go get it. Good coverage by Bartell. Now remember, Bartell got replaced last week because he got beat deep 2 or 3 times. So there's a little psychological issue there too.
On the stretch play, Moreno got a couple. It's going to bring up another 3rd down. But 3rd down has not been a problem for the Broncos so far in this first quarter, which has 6 minutes remaining. The highest since 1998 as far as their touchdown percentage in the red zone. Already 1 for 1 tonight on a 6-yard touchdown pass from Peyton Manning to Joel Greasy.
Tyvon Branch came off the field limping. Mike Mitchell replaces him. Tyvon Branch is probably their best defensive player.
Empty backfield for Peyton Manning on 3rd and 8. Backpedals and down he goes. A rarity, a sack. Lamar Houston picks it up. And it comes at a perfect time for the Raider defense.
Very aggressive defensive call by Jason Tarver. Man-to-man across the board. Peyton usually eats that up, but he doesn't get any time. Watch Lamar Houston flash inside untouched. Poor job of setting pass protection up front. You get the free runner, and it's a big play.
That's a bad problem with an empty backfield. There's nobody to help the quarterback.
And Peyton is an inside-out guy. He wants you to protect everything inside, and he'll take care of outside.
Prater will try a 43-yard field goal, and it's perfect. So with a little over 5 minutes remaining, Peyton Manning went to the end zone once, then lost 11 and had to settle for 3. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by America's Navy, a global force for good. And by Best Buy. What will your gift do? 10-0. Peyton Manning and the Broncos out in front. NFL Network's got the most complete pregame coverage on television. Wake up at 7 a.m. First on the field. Live reports from around the league. Game day morning at 9. Another rookie quarterback that's having a great year, Russell Wilson. Talk about him. He'll talk with Steve Mariucci. First on the field, game day morning. All starts Sunday at 7 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network.
Now, who do you vote for Rookie of the Year this year? You know?
I don't know. Andrew Luck, RG3, Russell Wilson. There's 3 pretty good choices.
You look at that rookie crop of quarterbacks. What impresses me? Remember when Flacco and Ryan came in a few years ago, took their teams to the playoffs? They had great run games and defenses. Are you kidding me? Andrew Luck and RG3 put those teams on their shoulders. It's pretty cool to watch.
Matt Prater to kick. Knuckleball will take a bounce and into the hands of Mike Woodson at the goal line. Woodson, oh man, what a collision before he got to the 20. Steven Johnson, the rookie linebacker. Hello. You could hear that one and feel it way up here.
He's a rookie free agent. Rookie free agent. This is how you make a team and then stay on a team.
So the Raiders, who have 4 yards of total offense so far, this is only their second possession. They'll work from the 19-yard line. Oh, yeah. That'll make you squint a little bit.
Kill! 180! What's that?
McFadden. A couple of yards, that's it. Justin Bannon, the first guy to meet him.
Now, the Raiders' run game on the season has been one of the worst in the league. They're number 29 in the league. The last 2 weeks, they feel a little better. They went 30 for 122 a week ago, and against Cincinnati, 23 for 99. So they've been averaging about 4 yards a carry, but they've had an awful lot of problems scoring a touchdown early in the game.
180! What's that?
2nd and 9, toss sweep to Darren McFadden. Trying to find his blockers, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Derek Wolfe made the stop from his defensive end spot. A rookie out of Cincinnati. Part of that group up front, Dumerville. Between he and Von Miller, they've got 23 sacks. As you take a look at the linebackers, Miller with 15. Brooking, the old man in the middle, and DJ Williams starting tonight for Wesley Woodyard. And the back end, Adams and Moore at safety, Champ Bailey, the 11-time Pro Bowler, and Chris Harris, who you really liked a lot early last season, and he's blossomed into a budding star, Mike.
Yeah, free agent out of Kansas, didn't even go to the combine. I mean, Champ Bailey said it took 2 weeks to figure out what his name was.
Carson Palmer steps up in the pocket, going deep in the middle, and got it to Rod Streeter, all the way down to the 22-yard line. Another rookie rookie Streeter with a 58-yard catch.
This is the kid that I think is coming on from Temple University, a free agent. 6'3", 200, great protection, allows Palmer to step up. Now, this kid runs. He only had 17 catches at Temple. He was off the radar screen. Nobody knew about him. He had a big catch for 46-yard touchdown a week ago. And I'll tell you what, he outran Raheem Moore deep.
Big play, Raiders.
180.
And it sets him up
What's that?
at the 22-yard line. Palmer to throw on first down again. Down the middle. And he floated it. And it's intercepted by Champ Bailey. Bailey going the other way with his 52nd career interception. Just like that, the Broncos defense shuts down the Raider offense.
And that ball's thrown behind Brad, and Champ Bailey steals it easily.
11-time Pro Bowler, played it beautifully and gives it back to the Bronco offense. Carson Palmer, his 14th interception thrown this year.
Yeah, and that one's on him a little bit.
Champ Bailey, who's been around a long time, is the guy on the receiving end of it.
Now they're going to run a little stick nod route here, okay? Popular in the red zone. If you freeze it right here, you've got to fit it in between the corner and the safety. He throws it late and behind. Bad combination. That's one of Champ Bailey's easier career interceptions.
Third on the active career list for Champ. And now Peyton Manning in the offense from the 21-yard line. Throw complete, another first down, and it's Joel Dreesen. That's his 4th catch of the night, good for 13 yards.
Peyton Manning trusts people. Watch the blitz pick up here. Philip Wheeler, right guard. Ramirez just waiting for it. They're in the right protection. That allows Peyton to burp the baby a little bit there. Just bat the football 2 or 3 times. Plenty of time and get it out.
Knowshon Moreno straight up the middle. Tough run. Across the 40-yard line, pickup of 7 before Mike Mitchell can cut him down. And Knowshon doing just what you said. Not necessarily any big runs, but he's keeping them honest with 5 and 6, 4, 3, whatever it takes. In that case, 7 yards to bring up a 2nd down and 3. He'll try it again. Nice cut back to the middle and a first down across the 45. So Knowshon Moreno at 27 yards on the ground for number 27, and he'll get a breather. And Hillman will come back in.
Really fun to watch Peyton run the no-huddle offense. He knows what tempo he wants. Look at him.
Just like watching a conductor and the symphony orchestra. Play action. To the sideline, complete. Demaryius Thomas tiptoes out of bounds. 15 more yards.
People talk about his arm strength. Watch what happens. It's a good route. Demaryius Thomas becoming a beast. I mean, that's a 15-yard out. The ball was thrown before he made the cut. Peyton's already got him up over the ball. And now look at him. Here's what you're talking about, Brad. He's conducting 10 other human beings.
Wisconsin. 56. No. 56 is Mike.
We know who the middle linebacker is. First down at the 39. Handoff. Hillman. Big gainer. Another first down, a pickup of 12. Hillman, the rookie out of San Diego State.
They did a great job. When the linebacker comes, watch him seal this whole backside. Dreesen, the linebacker, gets caught in the wash. Look at that. Huge hole and a good one-on-one tackle by Michael Mitchell.
Alex tells us from the sideline that Tyvon Branch has gone to the locker room with an ankle injury, arguably the Raiders' best defensive player and their top tackler, and that's not good news the way things are going right now.
Yeah, I think he might be the best tackling safety in the league.
36 is Mike.
Manning wanted to throw a slant, and he did. He sidearmed it to Demaryius Thomas, and Thomas is down to the 11-yard line. Well, we've seen a jump pass, and now we saw Peyton Manning alter his stance in the pocket and throw it sidearm on this one.
Yeah, this is really bad technique by the corner, Ronald Bartel. I mean, if you're going to get up there and press, you better get your hands on Thomas. He's too big and physical. If you just back away and give him an inside slant, Peyton Manning will knock that out every day of the week. It's a 10-0 Broncos game, and the Raiders need to make a play.
Tonight's aerial coverage is being presented by America's Navy. Nice night in the Bay Area, unless you're a Raider fan. 10-0 Broncos at the end of one. Peyton Manning's on pace for about 600 yards passing tonight. They've got 176 first quarter yards to 63 for the Raiders, and 11 plus minutes.
Now, look at the plays. 25 plays in a quarter. You figure most teams run, what, 60 to 65 a game. They're on pace for 100.
First down on that last pass by Peyton Manning to Demaryius Thomas has put him at the 11-yard line. Trindon Holliday in the offensive lineup as well. Draw play. Moreno got a yard. That's it. Desmond Bryant and Ocelio Hansen in on the stop. Hansen's playing a lot of corner with Michael Huff, who hasn't been in there a few snaps either. So two of the best guys in the secondary for the Raiders not in the lineup right now.
And I kind of liked Hansen as a nickel when he was with the Eagles. I thought he competed inside, much more natural as an inside slot defender than he is on the outside.
Second down and 9. Broncos can actually get a first down at the 1-yard line. Peyton's in trouble, and down he goes. Second sack of the night. And Desmond Bryant again.
When you can push the pocket on any quarterback, but especially Peyton, you got a chance. Now here comes right up the middle. Copen gets pushed back into him. Peyton is not nimble when he can't step up into the pocket and find a lane to slide into. Good job by the grad from Harvard.
They're working on Demaryius Thomas on the sideline. Peyton's number 1 receiver. Not in there on a third down and 15.
Look at the tailback. Moreno walked right up to the line of scrimmage with him. He didn't want to miss anything.
Manning to the end zone. Too high for Tammy, the tight end. That one looked like it sailed on him a little bit.
Yeah, and that was good coverage that time, especially by Miles Burris, the linebacker right here. He's got to force Peyton to elevate the football. This is his favorite throw, the seam in between two. And Ness, I think you called it correct. It kind of sailed a little bit because he was cognizant of Burris underneath.
Better to miss him high than to have it intercepted and give your field goal kicker a chance.
Yeah, don't ever give away points in the red zone.
Prater, who hit earlier from 43, this time from 34 yards out. And a kick up and good. So the Broncos add to their lead with 13:39 remaining in the first half. John Madden, Rod Woodson, Howie Long, all kinds of Ronnie Lott, Commissioner Roger Goodell here, James Lofton, Mike Haynes. Join the NFL in celebrating 50 years of Pro Football Hall of Fame and the golden anniversary. Go to Canton and join the more than 10 million fans who made the pilgrimage to the birthplace of the National Football League. Visit ProFootballHof.com for more details.
I see Howie Long striding across the field there, and I can't help but think back to being an 18-year-old freshman at Boston College, and Howie was my recruit. He was 16 years old, big, gangly, good-looking kid. And who knew then that he was going to turn into one of the best defensive linemen in NFL history?
And his son's not too bad at it. And his youngest son's going to be a pretty good one, too, on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, his next son is an offensive tackle guard at Oregon. And he's going to play in the league for a lot of Sundays also.
Well, the Raiders have had all kinds of trouble. 10 straight quarters now without a first quarter score, and they need something here, Mike, because we're talking with Jack Del Rio about trying to make the Raiders one-dimensional. Well, here you go. They're down 13 points already.
Down 13 early. They run the ball 33% of the time, which is a historically bad number. And when you get out of balance against Von Miller and Doomerville, watch out.
Play action. Palmer steps up, fires, and broken up and almost intercepted. Nice job by Raheem Moore as he got there just when the football did.
I thought when Raheem Moore came out of UCLA, he had one of the best bursts of any college safety in quite a while. Play action. The ball comes a little late. Now watch him drive on the football. Love the way he goes for the football. Didn't look for the contact. He got the football. Denarius Moore still down. Just a great job by Raheem Moore.
Dennis Allen, his first year as head coach of the Raiders, a terribly tough week with his father Grady passing away, and a terrible start to the ball game with his football team trying to muster some offense here, trailing by 13.
Right, 90. What's that?
McFadden trying to get to the corner. Looked like a face mask, but I don't see a flag. Robert Ayers, loss on the play.
I think he's a key guy in their stretch run. Former first-round pick. Watch him stack the edge. Kills the tight end Myers. Keeps outside leverage. He was up high, Brad. Let's see if he gets the face mask.
No, he didn't.
Nope, underneath, right?
Got him in the chin.
He's a key guy in this rotation. If he can spell Dumervil and Wolf and Von Miller, get pressure on the quarterback. Remember, former first-round pick. He just needs to be more consistent.
This guy has not a sack tonight, but he's in his stance right now, 3rd down and 11.
Watch out, folks.
From the backside, Palmer's hit as he throws across the middle, caught about 3 times by Darius Hayward-Bay, but short of a first down.
Yeah, they kind of identified Von Miller there, didn't they?
Yeah.
There were about 2 or 3 black shirts all over him. Whether or not Hayward-Bay catches that, it wasn't going to be a first down. You could see it there, the right tackle, Khalif Barnes. Didn't matter. They were going to get bodies on him, and then they're double tap, triple tap.
The Raiders have to punt. Leckler, one of the best in the business, in to kick. Trendon Holiday there. He got the fair catch sign up. Nobody around him for about 15 yards, but he definitely got his arm in the air that time.
Dude, return that one.
Peyton Manning. He's done a little bit of everything already tonight. He'll be on offense when we come back. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Kay Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Every kiss begins with Kay. And by the Lexus December to Remember sales event. This is the pursuit of perfection. Peyton Manning hasn't been perfect tonight, but this season he makes everybody around him better. Look at the numbers on the season, and trust me, they wouldn't have had those this time a year ago.
No, and those are numbers that are important to me. He doesn't take sacks. He converts on 3rd down in the red zone, and when you add it all up, they're scoring 29 points a game, and that's what this is all about.
Demaryius Thomas, he's heading to the locker room. They were working on his shoulder, and he's questionable to return. That's the big play threat for Peyton Manning. So the Broncos lose an offensive star, and the Raiders lose a couple of their defensive backs so far. Manning throws, completes. Eric Decker just a little bit short of a first down.
Boy, was that a good catch.
And again, no huddle, as they'll come up to the line with a 2nd down and a yard. Trying to get his man in motion. Decker now does move. And the gives to Knowshon Moreno, who got a couple. And that's good enough to move the sticks. Philip Wheeler made the tackle. Jason Tarver, the Raiders defensive coordinator, might have said it best. He said he's not only one of the best quarterbacks ever, he's the best offensive coordinator in the NFL.
Yeah, I love that. I love that comment. It's right on target.
First down at the 28. Play action. Peyton rolls, looking to throw on the run. Does, and somehow tucked it in there to Andre Caldwell. Wasn't a lot of room for error there.
Yeah, and he had Decker deep. He missed Decker deep early because of pressure. Decker had the hand up and wanted it all the way down the field, but he holds on to the football, and again, accuracy doesn't get any better than that. Inside the sideline makes it easy for Caldwell to cradle it.
Peyton closing in on 5,000 pass completions. Think about that one for a second. Moreno out to the 49. With 10:35 remaining, Denver in total control so far, leading 13-0. And got a man down, Mike Mitchell, who's actually in for Tyvon Branch. Raiders can't lose any more defensive backs in this game. They're flat running out of them right now. 10:30 remaining, first half. Denver 13-0. Wake up with NFL AM, the only morning show dedicated to the NFL. Tomorrow morning, Bengals running back Ben Jarvis Green Ellis joins us to talk about the matchup with the Cowboys on Sunday. Wake up with a first look at the latest NFL news, info, and highlights. NFL AM tomorrow and every weekday, 6 a.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network. Mike Mitchell coming out. The Raiders lose any more defensive backs, they're going to ask you to come out of retirement, pal.
I couldn't move 30 years ago. I got no shot now.
Brandon Ross does come in to the depleted Raiders secondary to take his spot at safety. Second down and 7 for the Broncos. Straight up the middle, Knowshon Moreno. First down run. This is the best he's looked in maybe since his rookie season.
Catch. Ramirez going to pull out. Nice job with the cut in the hole by Moreno. I like the patience in the hole to make you miss. One unblocked defender, and then you get up the field. That's a solid run again by Moreno.
42 yards for Knowshon on 11 carries. Dreesen flushes out of that backfield. He'll be a lead blocker here. And Knowshon with a cutback run and a pickup of 8 more. Moreno, former #1 draft choice out of Georgia. And again with Willis McGahee out for the season with an injury, this guy has to carry the mail.
Crack toss. They get a crackback block, and then the tackle. Orlando Franklin pulls out. And I'm telling you, decisive but patient. That's what I like about Moreno tonight.
And now Hillman, who gives Moreno a breather. He's dragged down by Tommy Kelly, but not before a pickup of 6. Now, granted, the Raiders are 28th in the league against the rush, but if they don't find a way to stop the rush, they're not going to find a way to stop Peyton Manning either.
Yeah, and this Hillman kid, I think adds a little bit different picture for the Denver offense. Rookie, 3rd-round pick out of San Diego State. Marshall Faulk and I had a long conversation about this kid before the draft. He's got a little different burst than anybody else.
Play action. Peyton deep on the sideline, and it's intercepted. Great leaping interception by Phillip Adams at the goal line. On a pass that might have been a little bit underthrown, but a great play defensively.
Definitely underthrown. And I think it was partly because his arm might have been obstructed by a defensive lineman with pressure. It looked like it altered his release a little bit, but the ball was underthrown. Really good job fighting back underneath it right there and using hands. That's the 2nd consecutive week for Phillip Adams. Look at the end of this now. The pressure, Franklin gets jacked back, and you see how he kind of has to alter the release point. I don't think he got enough on that, as much as he expected to get, but let's give Phillip Adams some credit. He came in last week for Bartell, got an interception, and on the interception he got hurt. 2 consecutive weeks. Phillip Adams, they like this kid.
10th interception Peyton Manning has suffered this year to go with his 30 touchdown passes. But a really nice defensive play, and it stops any further bleeding and gives the ball back to the Raiders offense. Now can they do something with it with 8.5 to go in the half? Denarius Moore, who was shaken up on their previous series, is back in there on a slot to the right side.
Go to 5-9.
3 wideouts for Carson Palmer from the 20. They're going to keep it on the ground. McFadden trying to get to the edge. Flags all over the place. And McFadden's run out of bounds by DJ Williams, but I think this one's coming back.
Yeah, I do too. See a little burst there by McFadden.
Yeah.
Beating Carter to the edge.
His problem has been being healthy for a whole season.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. Replace down.
You know, and that's Mike Breisel, the right guard, right here. Now he's going to pull out in front, try and get up in the hole, and you can see clearly once the hands get outside the framework of the body, they're going to call it. And that's, I'm with you on the whole McFadden thing. People want to talk about him as a franchise back, and he has yet to play 16 games in a season. And by definition, to me, that's not a franchise back.
Palmer throws, completes. Hayward Bay back out to the 25. Champ Bailey draped all over him, but a pickup of 15 yards.
Here goes Michael Huff into the locker room. They're running out a healthy body
They
from the
are.
back end. Happened last week also. Last week they had 3 defensive backs leave the game with concussions.
They had 2 starting corners go down the first week of the season. They're out on the street looking for defensive backs. They're going to be doing that again.
Yeah, Shante Spencer, who they acquired in the offseason, and Ronald Bartel both went down, and Bartel came back off of IR recently.
McFadden, there's a good tough run up the middle and a first down. And let's check in with Alex.
Well, Brad, as you guys just saw Michael Huff going into the locker room, while he was going in, Tyvon Branch was coming out. I told you a little earlier he went into the locker room for x-rays on his ankle. Guessing from what I'm seeing down here, I think those might have revealed some good news. He's warming up on the sidelines. We'll see if he can make it back into this game.
That would be good news for the Raiders D. 7 minutes remaining in the half.
Middle 5-5-5.
Adams' interception
180.
has given the Raiders a little bit of life here. They can keep this offensive drive alive. Palmer deep on the sideline, and he overthrew Rod Streeter. I don't know if Streeter might have slipped out of his break a little bit.
Yeah, exactly, Brad. I don't think he overthrew him. Streeter went down coming out of the break. You'll see as he comes out, he's working on Carter, and I like this rookie again. He's 6'3", 200. He's making plays, but again, coming out of the break, nothing a quarterback can do about that.
Yep. Marcel Reese in as a single setback behind Palmer, who changes things up here at the line.
Yeah, he saw a late rotation and a blitz by Chris Harris off the slot. We'll see if Denver changes up.
Throw to the outside's complete, and Streeter's got a first down this time. Out to the 45, pick up a 13.
And exactly what we talked about. Carter put them in the right protection. Watch Marcel Reese pick up the slot blitz by Chris Harris. Really good job. Throw it right in the vacated area. That's a veteran quarterback who understands what's happening on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Raiders first down at their own 45.
What's that?
In the middle of the line goes Marcel Reese. Got about 3. Working on Mitchell over there on the sideline.
Now, I've got no problem with them working some run game in here. It's only 13-0. There's plenty of time in the second quarter. They just need to make it's a good drive. What do they have, Brad? No drive over 5 minutes in the entire season that ended up in a touchdown?
Yeah, they got one that was 5:05.
Yeah, they need to finish this drive with points.
Empty backfield. Palmer throws complete. Another first down to Darius Moore, who was benched last week after dropping a couple of balls. He holds on to that one and a pickup of 11.
Yeah, Von Miller's heating it up a little bit now on the outside. Watch him come off the edge, working against Khalif Barnes. He gets up under him. That's called speed to power. Outside speed, convert to power, push that tackle back in the quarterback's face. A sack or two is on its way. Trust me, Brad.
180.
First down at the 41. Straight drop, pump fake, and now down the middle and drop. Speaking of drops, Streeter would have had a first down and maybe quite a bit more.
Yeah, a lot of people in this area blaming Carson Palmer, which I think is unfair. Can't put it any better than that. The rookie's got to catch it first before you run up the field. Man.
That's been a problem for the Raiders this year. Drop passes.
Yep.
And it goes all the way around. It's not just one guy.
Hey, I'm a Dennis Allen fan, and I'm a Reggie McKenzie fan. I think if they give them time, this thing can get turned around.
There's what Mike was talking about. One touchdown drive in 5 minutes or more, and that was 5:05. Got a good drive going here, and they don't want to waste it before halftime. Palmer, the quick slant. This time he holds on. Streeter's got a first down at the 26-yard line.
This is a young wide receiver core. Hayward Bay's in his 4th year. Denarius Moore is 2nd. And to the right side now, good protection, but I like the ball out quickly. Streeter wins inside immediately against Champ Bailey.
Not bad for an undrafted free agent.
He's got some skills now.
At the 26, Palmer over the middle. Nice grab there by Moore again at the 20-yard line. Gets up and runs the wrong way. I think he kind of lost his place on the field.
What was that, Roy Riggles? Wrong way Riggles?
Yeah,
remember
Jim
him?
Marshall.
Rose Bowl, Jim Marshall, yeah. Good route crossing the face of Chris Harris.
And then you go the other way. Oh.
He's not sure he's touched. He's excited.
It's kind of like when you do a bunch of somersaults in the pool and you end up hitting your head on the bottom instead of coming up to the top. Second down at 4. Palmer in the gun. Swings it out to McFadden with blockers in front. He got the first down, but he's tripped up by the linebacker. Prevented any further damage, but they continue to move the chains.
Stefan Wisniewski, the center, out in front. Just a quick screen. If they get a block on that, they've got a chance. Danny Trevathan, the rookie 6th-round pick from Kentucky, does a nice job making the hit.
11th play of the drive coming up for the Raiders.
McFadden splitting out wide. We're going to find out what they're in now. Trevathan going out on McFadden. That tells you it's man coverage.
Complete the tight end. Down to the 7 is Brandon Myers, and that's his 70th catch of the year.
Brad, think about that, huh? Here's a kid in his 4th year who's gone from 4 receptions to 12 to 16 and 70 this year. That's my definition of a breakout year.
180.
Second down and 3. Quick throw to the outside. Complete, but a nice job on the corner over there. Very short gain for Hayward Bay. Tony Carter, nice play on the outside.
Yeah, I love Tony Carter's tackle. I really don't like Hayward Bay's inability to make a move. Now it's soft and off. Got the football. Now, this is one of those guys that runs 4.35, but he doesn't have a lot of niftiness laterally. He's kind of a long striding guy who can't beat you one-on-one. Tony Carter, nice tackle, son.
He was running about 8 flat out there in the flat. It's 3rd down and 2. Trying to get a touchdown here. 2-minute warning upcoming. And they might call a timeout here. They will. They don't want Peyton Manning to get football back, if at all possible. They've got a big 3rd down and 2 just prior to the 2-minute warning upcoming. 13-0 Broncos in front. Following the timeout, biggest play of the ball game so far for the Raiders. 3rd down and 2. They can get a first down right around the 4-yard line. Probably the final play before the 2-minute warning. From the 6. Hayward Bay in motion across the field. Pump fake one way, the throw back to McFadden, and he's going to walk in. Touchdown Raiders. And a leap into the black hole. Boy, that was a good-looking play.
Yeah, Brad, I love the structure of that play because really the fake by Palmer one way coming back to the screen pass, it's really good. McFadden's the tailback. They have a tight bunch to the right. He fakes the tight bunch, bubble screen, comes back to the left, and look at that. That's a beautiful conceived play and executed just right.
Darren McFadden, welcome back. Extra point by Janikowski. Well, about 10 minutes ago, it looked like the Broncos were going to be up 20-0. The Raiders come back, their best touchdown drive and the longest touchdown drive of the year, and they're right back in it.
Coming up on our halftime show, how have the Raiders kept it close? And we break down Peyton Manning's first half performance on the Lexus halftime show, Brad.
A man that can walk the walk and talk the talk, and that is worth a lot on eBay right now, I bet. Rich Eisen jersey. Rich will be along with Mooch, Michael, Marshall, and Primetime in a couple of minutes. But an 80-yard drive. And 6 minutes, 33 seconds, the longest touchdown producing drive of the year by the Raiders has put them right back in this thing, 13-7. But the bad news is Peyton Manning's got 1:59 to work with.
Which for Peyton, it obviously is an eternity.
Greg Knapp, the offensive coordinator, with Carson Palmer there on the sideline. Carson That was his 21st touchdown toss of the year. Three wide outs for Peyton on a first down at the 20-yard line. Wide open in the flat is Tammy. He got 5 or 6 before he's run out of bounds, and that is 5,000 career completions. 5,000 career completions. Brett Favre, the record holder, with 6,300.
1,300 more. 400 a year. Before he's 40.
Unbelievable. 14 of 19 tonight. That one's tipped in the air. Incomplete. Philip Wheeler, I think, is the guy that got a hand on it. He's turning into a pretty good linebacker.
I think Wheeler's having his best season ever, and he comes off the edge here working on Orlando Franklin. Does a nice job.
The penalty marker down.
Prior to the pass, showing the use of hands to the face. Defense, number 28. A 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Wow, Philip Adams with the penalty, that's automatic first down.
And they really like this young corner. Hands get up high. You know, if you're grabbing the face mask and twisting, I get it, and I understand the rule if that's technically correct, but I don't think it impacted the route.
Manning tightening up his coverage as he'll hand it off. Slipping is Noshawn Moreno, and he lost a yard.
Peyton get him right back over the line of scrimmage. Look at him. Let's just watch and listen here.
They've still got 3 timeouts to work with as well. They give him time, and he delivers. Down the middle of midfield, Matthew Willis with a pickup of 19.
He snaps this ball. They're not even ready. Defensive tackle Des Bryant standing up with his back to the line of scrimmage. I mean, that's Peyton Manning.
At midfield now with 1:08 and the clock winding down.
34 is Mike. No, 52 is Mike.
He just changed the mic from Mike Mitchell to Wheeler. That changes the protection along with it.
Blitz had got to him. Mike Mitchell off the corner. That's a 3rd sack of the night. Timeout, Denver. Nice job by Mitchell, who went out shaken up early. But he comes up with a big play there. 3rd sack on the night.
They slide from behind. Mitchell comes untouched. Big sack by the Raiders.
47 seconds remaining in the half. But with that sack, 2nd down and 16 coming up. We talked about 5,000 completions. How about we take you back to the first one? In his rookie year with the Colts. And who's going to throw to? I think this is Marshall in the flat. Marshall Faulk.
I'd throw it to Marshall, too.
I would, too. And here comes number 5,000 15 years later. And Marshall will be along in 47 seconds on the Lexus halftime show. I think Marshall touched it the first 7 times. Couple of passes and 5 runs in Peyton's rookie season.
That's when you knew Peyton was pretty smart.
Yeah. 2nd and 16. Pressure coming. That ball might have been tipped, but Decker makes the catch, gets it back to the original line of scrimmage, and then 1 to the 49. But the clock winding down at 35 seconds. And 3rd down and long. Manning, with 25 seconds remaining, gets the snap. He's going to throw this one. Almost intercepted. His receiver slipped. Matthew Willis. And Philip Adams almost had his 2nd pick of the night.
And Jason Tarver doing a nice job with his blitz package. Again, Wheeler comes off the edge untouched. Watch the defensive lineman step down. Wheeler untouched. Moreno doesn't get there in time. I give Tarver and this defensive group some credit. This is the number 32 defense in the league, and they're getting pressure on Peyton Manning.
And there's the young defensive coordinator whose team has forced the first punt of the night by the Broncos here in the waning seconds of the half. Britton Colquitt to kick. Denarius Moore back deep around the 10-yard line. And Moore immediately calls for the fair catch and takes it around the 13-yard line. So 13 seconds, all that remains in the first half. First quarter was dominated by the Broncos and Peyton Manning, but Carson Palmer, the last time he got his hands on it, there's his numbers. They went 80 yards in 13 plays, and at 6:33, their longest touchdown drive of the year has put them within striking distance. And I assume we're going to see a knee right here and head to the locker room and worry about things in the third quarter.
I would agree. And you know, I like seeing Palmer making plays. I think he takes a lot of heat, and I don't think he's surrounded by a lot of talent.
So a good drive by the Raiders late in the quarter has kept them within 6 of Peyton Manning and the Broncos. Into the half, 13-7 Denver. Don't forget, stick around. The Lexus halftime show with Rich and the guys coming up next. Half just about set to get underway. Peyton Manning warming up as we take a look at our first half game summary delivered by Papa John's. 13-7, but it looked like the Broncos are going to run away with the ball game until Peyton Manning was intercepted on that play you just saw. Coming back to start the third quarter, Brad Nessler with Mike Mayock. Couple of times in the red zone where they had to settle for field goals, 1 touchdown, and then that interception by Peyton, and we got a pretty good ball game.
Yeah, I thought they were going to run him out of the building early on. I mean, Peyton takes him right down the field, and I thought the Oakland defensive backs made it too easy. You take a look at what happens on this first touchdown. Joel Dreesen, the tight end, it's man-to-man. Michael Huff, at this point, has pretty good coverage, but he's got to understand he's going to throw it away from the leverage. Way too easy. Peyton throws it away, and now watch Ronald Bartel. That left foot's going to open up. When you open the door and don't get any contact and allow the receiver to run a slant underneath, Peyton will steal you blind. But late in the half, defense came on. Lamar Houston untouched. And again, this time Moreno can't get all the way across. They got pressure on Manning, and as a result, they kept, kind of like you said, Brad, didn't let him score touchdowns in the red zone, and all of a sudden, we got a football game.
Ties a career high for Peyton Manning, being sacked 3 times in the first half. Wow. So nice job by the Raider defense. And now they're going to get the football first to start the third quarter. Carson Palmer, I'm sure he wants to keep that hand as hot as it was late in the second quarter. He went 9 of 11 on that 80-yard drive to 5 different receivers. Prater to kick. And this one's going to be knocked out of the back of the end zone as we check in with Alex.
Hey, Brad, well, you mentioned the pressure that the Oakland Raiders have been able to get on quarterback Peyton Manning. Remember, the Broncos are playing without right guard Chris Cooper, and over the course of the season, when he's been out of the game, Peyton has taken a lot more sacks. John Fox also telling me during the half that the Raiders defense has been showing them some things that they were not expecting, and they have made those adjustments in the second half and will be able to take care of that, he says. Meanwhile, Dennis Allen happy about how his team extended that last touchdown drive. They'll be looking to do that, of course, more in the second half.
Let's see how they do to open the third quarter from the 20.
180.
Darren McFadden's got the touchdown tonight. He has the first carry of the third quarter. Trying to get to the corner, and he did. Great speed for McFadden down the sideline, and McFadden is already in Bronco territory. Great way to open up the third quarter, a pickup of 36.
Really well done. You're going to see down blocks here, and then watch Brandon Myers come over here and seal the edge. Down, down, and then here comes a seal, and it's all about great speed. Champ Bailey loses the edge atypically for the veteran corner, and great speed by McFadden.
Longest run allowed by the Broncos this year. And the Raiders already setting up shop in Denver territory at the 44-yard line. And now it's Marcel Reese. And he gets 2 off the left side before Chris Harris can bring him down.
Kind of interesting, Brad. You know, the Oakland comes on in the second quarter. Denver seemed like they kind of just were assuming the game was going to go their way, and I really like the pressure they got on Manning. And atypically, he didn't get him in the right protections, and here we've got Carson Palmer going the other way with the run game.
180.
Reese stays in there in the Oakland backfield on second down and 8. And now Reese gets behind Carson Palmer. Play clock down to 1. Draw play to Reese. Met at the line of scrimmage, no gain. Dumerville And Unrein in on the stop.
Unrein's an interesting kid. Del Rio saying he absolutely loves this kid's motor. Second-year player out of Wyoming. I put the tape on last week. Could not believe the hustle plays from him. He also scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Kind of cool for a defensive tackle.
3rd down and 8. Raiders want to keep this drive going. And we got motion all over the place.
Khalif Barnes jumped because he felt like Denver was in the neutral zone.
Robert Ayers was the guy that came across the line for the Broncos. Here's the call.
False start. Offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Check this out, Brad. I love this from last week. Now, screen pass, okay? Unrein ends up on his butt right there on the 34-yard line. 30 yards later, he's going to make the tackle down the field. That is, for a defensive tackle, that's a great hustle play. And there he is at fullback. Play action. Peyton's going to stick it on him. Great touch. Unrein makes the catch. And here's my favorite part. Look around. Look around. Matt, what are you going to do? Boom. Bang. Now, wait a minute. I better go get it.
Got to get that football. You'll never get another chance, maybe. Palmer throws off his back foot. And it was almost caught by Denarius Moore. Carson getting pressure, and he just couldn't get enough on that one. Throwing off his back foot and can't quite get it there.
Yeah, it's an overload blitz. And you can see Harris and Miller getting to him off the back. And because of the pressure, it's one-on-one coverage. Nice job there by Denarius Moore getting open. The ball just wasn't there.
So they waste that 36-yard run by Darren McFadden as they're set to punt. Leckler high kick, end over end. Jimmy Leonard makes a fair catch call and takes it right around the 10-yard line. Carson Palmer knows they wasted a good opening 3rd quarter drive there. Broncos have it when we come back. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And by Pizza Hut. Now you can get any Pizza Hut pizza, any size, with any toppings when you carry out. Pizza Hut, make it great. Reminder, great coverage of every NFL game when you go on the holiday season with NFL Mobile from Verizon. Watch every touchdown from every Sunday afternoon with NFL Red Zone, as well as NFL Network Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night games. Star NFL to download or go to bzw.com/NFL to learn more. Broncos have to work from their own 9-yard line. Noshan Moreno only a yard to the 10. Miles Burris, that rookie linebacker, makes the stop. Peyton Manning on this year passed Dan Marino for 2nd most touchdown passes in history. His boss, John Elway, for the 2nd most career wins by a quarterback in NFL history. 300-yard passing games, 69 of them. 14th season with 25 or more touchdown passes, extending his own record. And right now he's more worried about getting a 10th win for the 12th time in his career. And it's in jeopardy a little bit here on the road in Oakland. Blitz coming. Manning throws incomplete. Yep, no flag. There it comes. Demarius Thomas was held back there by Ron Bartell.
No question on that one. They're coming off the edge with a blitz. One-on-one Bartell. He's holding them all the way down the field.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. The ball he placed at the spot foul. Automatic 1st down.
Ooh.
Thomas, a big-bodied wide receiver in his 3rd year out of Georgia Tech, 6'3", 229-pounder, and on his way to being a Pro Bowl-type player because of the guy that's throwing it to him now.
Yeah, and I think he's in the conversation with who's the best big-bodied wideout in the league after Calvin Johnson.
Both Georgia Tech guys. Play action for Manning. Short gain, nice hit. Miles Burris, I like this kid, the outside linebacker.
Yeah, you know, I talked with him in their lunchroom a little bit yesterday, and I said, how's it going? He said, man, I'm living the dream. 4th-round pick from San Diego State. Now, he's been good against the run and a little bit overmatched in the pass game a little bit, but that time, perfect position. He's a tough kid, and he'll finish now.
First rookie since 2006 to have more than 100 tackles for the Raiders defense. 2nd down and 7. And again, Peyton trying to get Noshan Moreno on the right side. in this case the left side, and get it to him in the backfield, and a loss on the play. Tommy Kelly, nice job by the defensive tackle.
Yeah, Alex talked about Manny Ramirez at right guard. Tommy Kelly's going to cross his face and make a play. So Chris Cooper is the normal right guard. Ramirez has started several games this year, but that's a heck of a play by Tommy Kelly.
Fans here are going to come to life on this 3rd down and long.
Is that Desmond Bryant doing jumping jacks there in the middle?
Lance Ball in the backfield with Manning. He fakes it to him. Peyton sidesteps and throws and caught. What a grab by Demaryius Thomas. Wow.
This kind of demonstrates everything you want to see with a wide receiver. There's tight coverage because Mike Mitchell, 34, is going to flash under. So the concentration, the ability to pluck the ball out of the air, strong hands, and finish.
And oh, by the way,
really
that's
good.
the only place that pass could have been put to.
Yeah, the window was the size of a bread box right there.
First down, Denver at the 42.
Shallow!
Ronnie Hillman in the Broncos backfield with Peyton. Extra blitz. Deep ball over the shoulder of Decker. If the last one was a bread box, that one was about the size of a coffee can.
Now, this is pre-snap recognition. He's going to see Giordano single high. That means he's got one-on-one coverage on Joselio Hansen. And again, good coverage, but boy, look at the ball. You can't drop it in and hand it to him any better than that.
First down at the 29, a pickup of 29. Denver's first possession of the 3rd quarter, an impressive one right now so far. And whistles before the snap.
Foxy's going, wait a minute, did you reset the clock? What happened?
Peyton asking the same question.
You don't want Peyton mad at you either. I've seen that stare at the Manning Passing Academy. Like, Mike, what are you doing?
There is a situation with the malfunction of the game clock. We're going to check on its accuracy and its ability to function.
All right. So it was a game clock situation. We'll check that situation. 9:26 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Decker tiptoeing out of bounds. That's where the Broncos will have it when we come back. Peyton Manning, not the only quarterback to change uniforms late in his career. Johnny Unitas with the Chargers. Joe Namath, once a Jet and then a Ram. Joe Montana after San Francisco was Kansas City. Kurt with the Cardinals after the Rams. Brett Favre with the Jets and the Vikings following the Green Bay days. And a lot of people don't remember Drew Brees was a Charger. Maybe some of the young guys out there don't know that. But anyway, it's still kind of hard to look at him in this uniform, but he's looking pretty good in it right now.
I think it's kind of an amazing journey, and one of the reasons it was so enjoyable to talk to him last night.
Yep. John Elway running things now with the Broncos, and happy that he signed number 18, who's 6 out of 7 since throwing that interception. Here's a little toss sweep to Noshan Moreno with blockers in front. Broke one tackle. Doesn't get away from the rest of the Raiders at the 25-yard line, but he did get 5 yards.
You know, another key sign this year, you know, we talk a lot of time on Manning, but how about Dan Copen, the center?
Yeah.
Just keep in mind, early in the year, their starting center, J.D. Walton, went down. Then their 4th-round pick, Philip Blake, who's the center, went down. I thought he was a key signee, and I talked to Dave Magazoo before the game. He's their offensive line coach. And he said media guys were like, do you trust him? He's like, trust him. He's a 10-year veteran who I've coached more games than anybody else. I mean, I trust him.
How'd you like to snap it to Tom Brady and then snap it to Peyton Manning? Who's throwing long for the end zone. Incomplete, flags down.
You know, it's great coverage. All Giordano's got to do is turn his head. If he turns his head, looks for the football, they've got him sandwiched perfectly.
Demaryius Thomas, the intended receiver.
And I'll tell you what Peyton does. He throws it right at the back of the defender when he throws the seam or post. Watch 27 flash.
Defense, number
He
27.
throws it right at the 2 and 7.
At the 1 yard line. First down.
All he's got to do is turn. It's really good coverage. They do everything perfectly except find the football.
So that sets up the Broncos at the 1 yard line.
For a coaching staff, that's so frustrating. You get guys in the right place, you double team the right guy, and what's the net effect? Denver first and goal on the 1.
Unrein is in there, the guy we talked about earlier. As a fullback, play action. Manning throws to the corner. Might have another flag. Nope, not this time, I guess. Tyvon Branch covering on Virgil Green, the tight end.
Now, I love Tyvon Branch. I thought he kind of tackled Virgil here. Here's a hold. Now he's open at this point. I don't know if Virgil went down on his own or if he got tackled, but that's a non-call.
So second and goal.
Give it to Unrein.
Unrein again sets up as the lead blocker. Moreno's not going to get there. Nice job by the Raider defense. Lamar Houston and Desmond Bryant. And it's going to be third and goal.
The penetration came against the right tackle, Orlando Franklin. Right here, you can't allow defenders to penetrate on goal line and short yardage. This is a heck of a job right there, shrugging him off by Lamar Houston. He makes the play.
Remember, I mentioned earlier, the Broncos had to settle for field goals twice in the red zone in the first half. Will they have to do that again? Third and goal.
He knows Philip Wheeler was coming up through A gap.
Throw, the fade to the corner, overshot Decker. And the Raiders defense holds.
Wow. First and goal from the 1. How about that? And I think it's at the line of scrimmage where Philip Adams gets his work done. Watch the corner, Philip Adams, bottom of the screen. He gets his hands on at that point, and the play's over. That's really a good job. This young corner's making plays. Third-year player from South Carolina State.
Matt Prater will try a 20-yard field goal. And again, frustrated, the Broncos not getting touchdowns, having to settle for 3. And it's up and good, but it could have been a lot worse. Raiders, nice job defensively. Some good catches on the drive, but at the end, the Raiders defense stiffens. Tonight's aerial coverage is being presented by America's Navy. From Oakland, California, Brad Nessler, Mike Mayock, and Alex Flanagan. And Denver leading 16-7. But again, they had to settle for a field goal instead of a touchdown with a first and goal at the 1 after that pass interference penalty.
Remember, we talked earlier about Reggie McKenzie, the new general manager, Dennis Allen, the new head coach, and what they were looking for in a football player. Intelligence, toughness, passion for the game. I think they're showing something tonight. A 3-9 season, down 13-0, and coming back and competing.
Yeah.
That shows me something.
We asked Dennis Allen, who epitomizes what you want in a football player? And he said Drew Brees. Might not be the biggest, fastest, strongest arm, but he's tough and he competes to the end. Let's see if they can compete in this third quarter again, but they're not going to have very good starting field position. They don't get to the 10-yard line. The Broncos are already the AFC West champions. As you take a look at the playoff picture, the Texans, along with the Falcons, each at 11-1 with the best records in the league. And the battle for the wild card, the Colts in there with a rookie quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger's coming back this week for the Steelers. The Broncos would like to move in and get that number 2 spot and get home field.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. And when you look at who they have, they're at Baltimore next week in a tough game, but then they host Cleveland and KC.
180.
Worst starting field position for the Raiders. There's a stretch play to McFadden with a fullback in front. Got a nice game, but Chris Harris was holding on after a pickup of 4.
Brad, you talk about that AFC playoff picture. It's pretty simple if Baltimore holds their water. All 4 leading teams will win their division. and then 2 of 3 teams will make the playoffs. It'll be 2 of Indy, Pitt, or Cincinnati.
We'll see Cincinnati next Thursday night in Philadelphia as we wrap up our Thursday night season. We hope you join us for that one. Mike and a lot of his friends in Philadelphia be watching what the Eagles do in that game.
Yeah, and you know, it's an emotional time in Philadelphia right now.
Offense, number 45, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Marcel Reese with the false start. That's the 8th penalty on the Raiders. Notorious in past years for being the most penalized team in the league, and they have cut down on that considerably this year. But not tonight, and the Broncos haven't had one. Wow.
Yeah, they've been averaging 6.5 a game, and to have 8 already is a little bit of a setback.
Empty set for Carson Palmer with a shotgun.
He better get the ball out quickly.
Yep, because he's going to be throwing from his own goal line. Actually in the end zone. He did get it out quick to Marcel Reese. He got basically the penalty yardage back on the play.
Yeah, they took advantage of the rookie Danny Trevathan that time, who had man-to-man coverage on Marcel, and let him go to the flat.
So it brings up 3rd down and 6. Under 6 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. Palmer waited too long, dropped the ball, and the Broncos have got it.
Looks like Unrein.
It's your guy, Mitch Unrein, with a fumble recovery. Von Miller, I think, is the guy that caused it.
Here comes Von Miller off the edge. Tight end releases, so he's working on Khalif Barnes. That's the classic dip and rip move. That's an outside speed rush. Great job dipping under right there, stripping the football out, and now Unrein alertly gets on it. Now, like I told you with Peyton, cover 2-man is an obvious coverage with Carson Palmer because he's not a threat to run. 2 deep, man under. As soon as he had to hold on to that football, it gave the time for Von Miller to get there.
His 6th forced fumble of the season for the 2nd-year pro, who's going to be a Pro Bowler for a long time, it looks like. And now, here's the Broncos with 1st and goal again, and the Raiders defense has barely had time to catch its breath from the last goal line stand. Peyton Manning, 1st and goal of the 2. No Sean Moreno. Wow, half of it. Celia Hansen made the stop. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Yeah, Hansen's unblocked. I think Willis, the slot, was trying to get on him, but just a good job of closing quickly and making. I mean, this is a bunch of plays in a row where this Oakland defense has shown up on the goal line, man.
You look in above at the 1-yard line. 2nd down and goal.
This is one of my concerns for Denver. Short yardage goal line, can you run it in?
Yes, they can. Touchdown. A 1-yard touchdown run. And the Broncos capitalize on the fumble recovery.
Copen and Beatles did a good job getting a push there.
No Sean Moreno with a 1-yard score.
Left side of the line, gets some push. Now Moreno's got to drop the pad level and use those strong legs, which he does. Nice job.
Nothing like taking advantage of a turnover. The forced fumble by Von Miller. Unrein with a recovery. 2 plays later, no Sean Moreno. 4-2 for the score. Raiders extra point is good. Denver 23, Oakland 7. Costly fumble. 2 plays later, the Broncos with a touchdown. Now Denver's extended its lead now to 23-7. Didn't have to go far to do it. Turnovers, they got 10 points off turnovers tonight. Von Miller forcing the fumble by Carson Palmer. Unrein covered it, and no Sean Moreno did the rest.
Whoever thought we'd be spending a lot of time talking about Mitch Unrein this season?
He does a little bit of everything, doesn't he? Around the league as we head in, this being the beginning of weekend 14, Brian Urlacher out with a hamstring. Percy Harvin on injured reserve. That's not going to help the Vikings cause, trying to find a way to the playoffs. Brandon Brown has decided not to appeal a suspension for 4 games. And good news for the Steeler fans. Big Ben is back and ready to rock at quarterback after Charlie Batch filled in. And they got a big win last week. And now they get their regular quarterback back in there.
Yeah, Seattle's 7-5, and they got Arizona and Buffalo a chance to go 9-5 before they host San Francisco.
Imperative now for the Raiders to put something together here with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. McFadden met head on, no gain, and the hit. The rookie linebacker again.
Yeah, Danny Trevathan is a kid that was a 6th-round pick out of Kentucky. And remember, Wesley Woodyard, who's the normal weak side linebacker, didn't make the trip this week. So DJ Williams and Trevathan are taking his snaps.
Woodyard, their leading tackler, coming into this week. So those two guys sharing the duty and doing a good job tonight. 2nd down and 10.
Sub Honda O. 57. White 90. What's up?
The stretch play to McFadden trying to cut it up back on the inside. Only got a couple. Derek Wolfe, another rookie, made the tackle. Right before that snap, you were looking right into the face mask of Keith Brooking. You talk about pickups. He's been helpful at linebacker, too.
Watch Miller set the edge here. He jacks the tight end, forces the cutback, and still makes the tackle underneath. And Brad, to me, that's why he's such a difference maker. It's not just about sacks, which of course are critical, but he does all the right things in the run game, too.
Brooking was in on that stop as well.
Yep.
15th year. 3rd down and 8. Palmer fires. Had Hayward Bay open and missed him. And the Bluebirds are out. And those two having a chat about where he should have been and where the ball was. Don't think the quarterback was happy with his wide receiver there.
This is where you got to be careful, because this kid is a punt return waiting to happen when he doesn't fair catch incorrectly.
The last time he fair caught the ball with nobody around him for about 20 yards. This time they're going to keep it out of his hands. Flags fly in on a punt that rolls dead around the 45-yard line. Only a 32-yard punt.
Yeah, atypical for Leckler.
Yeah, that's for sure. Penalty marker came in at kind of an odd spot as well, so we'll let the officials straighten it out, and Cleet Blakeman, our referee, will give us the call.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 31. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down, Denver.
First penalty, Denver. 3:37 remaining, third quarter. Broncos have got it back with a 23-7 lead when we return. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by KFC. Come in today and taste why fresh is better. Happy holidays, everybody. From Oakland, 23-7 Denver. 3:37 remaining in the third quarter. And Peyton Manning and the Broncos offense has got it back at the 36-yard line. Tight end Dreesen comes over in a slot. They fake the pitch to Moreno. Peyton goes down the middle to Demaryius Thomas to the 45-yard line. Pickup of 19.
What a beautiful structure for a play. They're gonna fake a quick pitch, get everybody moving this way, fake the pitch, now bring Demaryius Thomas back the other way. Thomas wins. What was his nickname in college? What we used to call him?
Bebe.
Bebe.
They call him DT now. I guess he grew into his new nickname here with 1,000-yard receiving
He didn't like
season.
Bebe anymore, huh?
They got a man down. We'll check on him. We'll be back in a minute. How'd you like to play chess against this guy?
This is quintessential Peyton Manning here.
Again, getting everybody in the right spots at the right time and taking his time down to many times the last second on the play clock.
He's been all over Moreno tonight.
He does it on the sideline, too, as soon as he takes his helmet off. First down at the 45. No Sean Moreno on a cutback and a little hurdle job inside the 40. Good looking run. Pickup of 7 as we check in with Alex.
Well, Brad, I think the show within the show here is watching Peyton Manning when he's on the sideline. You talk about what he orchestrates on the field and really on the sideline. After they were stopped on the goal line, he came back out here and sat down with his offensive line, was kneeling in between them like you'd see an offensive line coach do. Details do not escape him. He looked up, he saw our cameraman and asked him to leave while he was talking to the offensive line.
And he completes it out to Dreesen, the guy that caught the first pass of the ball game and the touchdown in the first quarter as he's run out of bounds on the far side. How'd you like to be, say, Peyton Manning's quarterback coach? That's kind of like being Superman's strength coach, you know? I'll help you. I'll spot you. But you can kind of do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's older, though, Peyton or his coach, because I've known Adam Gase, the quarterback coach, for a lot of years, and I'm not sure if he's older than Peyton or not.
Mike McCoy, the offensive coordinator, loves working with Manning. When he was being courted, if you will, as a free agent, they talked a lot about that. There's Mike. He said, you know, some of the stuff's set in stone. We got our ways to do things. And Peyton said, I want to learn your system first, and then let's implement some of my stuff. Together, it's working out pretty well.
I'll say.
2:07 remaining in the quarter. Denver takes a timeout as Dreesen didn't quite get to that first down marker. So we've got third down and a couple of feet to go as they try to add points. Up already 23-7. Broncos are already the division champions in the AFC West for the 12th time in their history. And the most division titles by starting quarterbacks: Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana. That's good company.
Yeah, I'd like to be the fourth guy at dinner with them. You know what I'm saying?
I'd say the fourth guy in a foursome in golf, but I don't want to play golf with any of those guys either.
I'd caddy for him.
Yeah, that's an idea. Extra lineman, third down and short. About 2 feet to go for the first down. Peyton on play action throws, wide open Moreno. And Knowshon Moreno down near the 20-yard line. On third down and about 2 feet, they go play action bootleg and an easy pitch and catch for the first down.
And usually on play action, you go high to low. You read deep to short. Look at Dreesen on the deep route. He's wide open. I'm surprised Peyton dropped it down. I know he just wanted to get the first down and he was getting some pressure, but typically on bootleg, it's high to low.
So now they've got it first and 10 at the 21-yard line of the Raiders. Manning throws out in the flat. Hillman got turned around a little bit and couldn't find the handle.
Yeah, you want Ronnie Hillman to make that catch, though. If he's going to be your third down, change of pace guy that catches the ball out of the backfield, yeah, it was behind him, but catch a football. I think Foxy's telling him that. No, that's Knowshon.
So second down and 10. 3 receivers all to the near side.
He might have one-on-one with Thomas here. Bottom of the screen.
Stokely and Decker and Thomas all split to the left. Here comes the blitz. Manning throws. Decker catches it and takes it out of bounds around the 17-yard line. Phillip Adams ran him out. Decker having a career year, as is Demaryius Thomas. Here's the biggest third down of this quarter.
Prison.
And again, trying to get Knowshon Moreno in the right spot. Blitz coming. Moreno throws, Peyton Manning throws rather, out in the flat on a wide receiver screen to Decker. And that one didn't have a chance.
I'm liking Phillip Adams. 5'11", 195, third-year receiver. The game's not too big for him. Look at him drive, beats the block, which was a poor block by Willis, and makes a sure-handed tackle. I'm telling you, an interception a week ago, an interception tonight. He's made plays all over the field.
Another red zone stop, and another time forced to settle for 3. And Prater will try from 33.
And Denver's the 4th best team in the league in the red zone, so give Oakland's D some credit.
Kick is up and good with 20 seconds remaining, actually 19 remaining in the third quarter. Peyton Manning, they just keep adding points, looking for touchdowns, settling for field goals, but they do have a 26-7 advantage. Next Wednesday, catch a football life for an incredible portrait of legendary running back Marcus Allen, who's one of the most gifted running backs in the game, a Super Bowl MVP with the Raiders. Then injuries and a stormy relationship with Al Davis made his final years in Oakland a nightmare. Then he went on to become Comeback Player of the Year with the Kansas City Chiefs. Marcus Allen, football life next Wednesday, 8 Eastern. A lot of Hall of Famers that played for the Raiders were here at halftime. Ronnie Lott, Howie Long, John Madden, who got the biggest ovation probably, Fred Biletnikoff and Art Shell, Ted Hendricks, as you go down the line and the list there. And Mrs. Davis came out. It was quite a sight. All those buses were flown in from Canton for our halftime event tonight. And you talk about a whole bunch of great players. Marcus Allen there was an announcement made that he was one of the guys that couldn't be here tonight. And that stormy relationship I talked about. Yeah. He's always talked about, will he ever come home as a Raider? A lot of fans want that to happen. He wasn't able to be here tonight.
I got goosebumps at halftime watching.
That was cool.
It kind of, you see some of your childhood walking out on the field as you see Fred Biletnikoff, and whatever age you were, you identify with different players growing up, and it was really cool to see it.
Jim Otto, I didn't mention him, but a long list. They actually had Hall of Famers from about the 30-yard line to the 30-yard line at halftime, but that tells you how many they've had.
Love to see Marcus Allen back here.
Palmer on first down, wants to throw a screen and has to throw it away, and flags fly.
It might be on Von Miller late, right?
Maybe intentional grounding too, I don't know.
But Von Miller's starting to exert his will on Khalif Barnes.
There had to have been a receiver in the vicinity if it was a screen pass.
There are 2 fouls against the offense on the play. Illegal motion. That penalty's declined. Holding, number 69. Penalty's half the distance to the goal line. Replay first down.
Yeah, Khalif Barnes can't handle him one-on-one. This is an up and under. He's going to start up and then come back underneath. And when he goes underneath, Barnes is trying to hold him. He's too much for just about any tackle in the league. I mean, one-on-one, you got to chip him, you got to keep a tight end in, you got to do some things to slow him down. Khalif Barnes can't handle him one-on-one.
Now 1st and 20, throw to the outside, and they got the penalty yardage and a couple more back as Rod Streeter made the catch, a pickup of 14, and that brings us to the close of quarter number 3. Oakland's going to need a big fourth quarter if they're to come back and pull an upset. Right now, the Broncos looking for their 10th win of the season, and they're 15 minutes away. Sunday's NFL Network has the most complete pregame coverage on television. Wake up at 7 a.m. with First on the Field, live reports from all the game sites. Game day morning at 9. Russell Wilson's going to sit down with Steve Mariucci in our Sunday sit-down, take a close look at every one of the Sunday games, a look at the playoff picture and more. First on the Field and Game Day morning all starts Sunday at 7 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network. Carson Palmer and the Raiders offense with a 2nd and 6 to open up quarter number 4. And the throw incomplete, intended for David Osbury, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 6.
We've got a Raider down who was driving. I think it was Darius Hayward-Bay.
Yep.
Got clocked about 10 yards down the field with the ball in the air, which is illegal, but wasn't seen.
Mike, the Broncos have had a 10-minute advantage in time of possession. They've run 24 more plays than the Raiders. Here's another look at the collision between Raheem Moore and Hayward-Bay. The reason I say that, if they don't pick up this 3rd down, their defense has been out there the entire half almost.
Exactly right. 60 plays to 37.
Wow. Pressure coming. Palmer in trouble. Down he goes. DJ Williams is there, and so is Mike Adams.
I mean, they've got to help Khalif Barnes. And he just can't handle the speed of Von Miller.
Penalty marker down as we take another look.
There's the dip, the flatten to the quarterback. He just misses the swipe at the football. And then coming in is Adams, the safety, late.
He doesn't get the sack, but he forced it basically.
Holding, defense, number 24. It's a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, we don't see a lot of penalties on Champ Bailey.
Now he's covering Streeter, who, by the way, has 4 catches for 100 yards tonight. I don't have a problem with that. Of course, I'm a former defensive back, but
I was going to say. By the way, so first down at the 29, and that does keep the Raiders on the field.
Sit hot. 180.
First down at the 29. McFadden is going to be dropped for a loss, and we got another flag down. Justin Bannon, great play by the defensive tackle. Been around a long time.
another key free agent sign in the offseason.
Holding offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Cooper Carlisle, the left guard, with the penalty, so basically it backs him up with the penalty they just got going the other way.
Now, if you remember talking last year to Von Miller, we asked him who he modeled his game on. What did he say?
He said, I wear number 58 because of Derek Thomas, right?
Yep.
I tell you what, plays like him a lot.
This kid is really special. He, J.J. Watt, Alden Smith, there's some really good young defensive linemen in the NFL this year.
All those guys may be on their way to the sack record of Michael Strahan. Palmer throws complete. And a first down toss out to the 40-yard line to Denarius Moore. We just talked about number 58. You see him there in your screen. As we go into the video vault, take a look at these two guys wearing the same number.
Yeah, they share some physical traits. The ability to get wide, dip, rip, flatten to the quarterback. Look at Derek Thomas with the strip. That look familiar?
Yep.
We've seen it a couple times tonight, right?
Sure have.
I mean, that's beautiful, and it's kind of fun to take a look at Derek Thomas in real time.
Play action. Palmer has to get rid of it in a hurry as the blitz was coming, and he got it to Moore, and he's got another first down.
That's a big-time throw by Carson Palmer with Chris Harris bearing down on him. Here comes Harris, untouched. Off the break. When that head swivels around and you see blitz, the ball's got to come out, and you have to have enough arm strength falling off your back foot to still complete the pass. Good job, Denarius Moore coming back to the football.
Carson's only thrown it about half as many times as last week. He put it up 54 times last week, second most in his career. A pump fake, and the throw to the outside, and Moore again.
Right. I thought they held that time. I thought the right tackle held Von Miller. Watch what happens over here. Miller's going to beat him again. And here he comes. Had his arm right around his neck.
Relentless.
Yep.
Holding offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty, still first.
How many holding penalties can we get in one series, I wonder? Let's check in with Alex.
Well, Brad and Mike, Carson Palmer just saw the two numbers barreling down on him that he did not want to see. He said coming into this game that he had to be aware of 92 Elvis Dumervil and 58 Von Miller at all times. John Elway calls Von Miller a player, the type of player that comes along maybe once in every 10 years. Carson Palmer compares him to an Ed Reed or a Troy Polamalu, a guy that you have to know where he is at all times on the football field.
Unfortunately for Carson, he knows he's been on his right arm most of the nights. Here's a draw play, and nice job by Marcel Reese to pick up 5 yards. Mike Adams made the tackle.
When they get up on you, it's 26-7, and they make you one-dimensional, and you've got to throw the football, then, yeah, you're going to see a lot of 92 and 58. That's the whole program here. That's what Jack Del Rio wants.
Derek Wolfe a little bit shaken up on that last play. He'll go out for Denver.
He's been a good football player this year, by the way, and Kevin Vickerson's jogging off, who also has played well.
Second down at 15. Blitz coming on Palmer. Carson throws. Oh, just off the fingertips of Jerron Kreiner.
Catch the ball. I mean, you can't throw this football any better. He knows he's got one-on-one outside. Champ Bailey, that's a good job separating by Kreiner. Look where the ball's put. You kidding me? And Carson Palmer, when his feet are clean and he can step into a throw, still has big-time ability.
Just that close for Kreiner. Third drop pass by the Raiders tonight. Boy, Denver brings everybody up almost on the line of scrimmage right here on 3rd down and 15. And here they come. Palmer had to throw early, and it's almost intercepted by Tony Carter. Had his hands on it. Pass intended for Streeter.
This is called a zero blitz, meaning everybody's coming, no free safety help. It's man-to-man. Carson Palmer knows it. David Bruton comes off the edge. He throws it up, and the young wide receiver's got to come back to the football because Tony Carter almost stole it from him.
So Shane Lechler will have to give it up. Knuckleball of a punt. Jim Leonard takes it at the 15-yard line. 11:31 remaining in the 4th quarter. Zoo Lights, largest LED holiday light display in the Bay Area at the Oakland Zoo. We'll be back in a minute. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by GMC. Vote for the Never Say Never moment of the week at NFL.com/GMC. And by Verizon. Share the holidays with the Share Everything plan. If you just joined us, the Broncos leading 26-7. Peyton Manning on his way to his 70th career 300-yard game. A couple of touchdowns in 6 red zone drives. Had to settle for field goals on the rest. And Oakland just hasn't been out there enough offensively tonight to sustain any drives. They had one great drive over 6.5 minutes, their longest of the year, to go 80 yards to get it to a close score at halftime. But it's been the Broncos' second half. And Knowshon Moreno with his best run of the night, still going all the way out to the 33-yard line. Knowshon crawling for extra yardage at the end of that one. 18-yard pickup.
I'll tell you who's becoming a good football player is Zane Beadles right here, 3rd-year player from Utah. A little skip pull, meaning he stays parallel to the line of scrimmage, gets on the backer, and then the cut by Moreno. Barros can't arm tackle him. And again, I keep saying, if they want to be a Super Bowl team, they've got to run the football efficiently. And tonight, they've done a pretty good job.
How about Knowshon's night, huh?
Yeah.
78 on the ground on 21 carries and 48 as a receiver. Peyton taking that clock down to 1 tick and gives it off to Moreno again. This time only a couple. David Tollefson, the outside linebacker, made the stop, but we'll be down to 10 minutes on the next snap, and the Broncos comfortably in front.
People are talking about MVPs. It's about that time of year, right?
Yep.
Most valuable player, rookie of the year. I like what you said last week, that Peyton was kind of on the way to be both the comeback player and potentially the MVP in the same year.
Would be his 5th MVP if that indeed happens. I think the comeback thing is over already. I guess you could talk about Adrian Peterson, but yeah. AD only missed 1 game last year when he was hurt around Christmas time. So his remarkable recovery from a severe knee injury, yes indeed, but when you miss a whole year like Peyton Manning did and then come back and have a all-pro type season, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and really interesting to listen to him talk about. We've all, everybody's heard about him with his former quarterback coach, David Cutcliffe.
Yep.
And just the stories he was telling us last night about sleeping in Cutcliffe's house while Cutcliffe screaming and yelling at him on the field, and trying to figure out whether or not he was going to be able to play again, and then to come back and to get better every week and have this kind of season is just a testament to how tough this kid is.
Set to throw again is Peyton Manning on 3rd and 6, pumps once and then throws to the sideline, and flags fly in.
Yeah, it was a double route. Tyvon Branch contacted him way more than 5 yards down the field. Branch is going to tell him that he has the right to that space also, but not really. It's a double move, and then he runs right into him and holds him.
Finishing up on that.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 33. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
On that conversation about Peyton, first he went to Duke, where Coach Cutcliffe is the head coach, and had some passing sessions. He called up Brandon Stokely and said, hey man, I need your help. I need somebody to run some routes. And so Stokely, his career has been restoked by Peyton Manning. It's not that they were a package deal, but here's this guy. He was basically going to retire from football, and he said, wait a minute, Peyton wants me around. I want to be around. Broncos work him out. They bring him in. And coming into the night, he had 36 catches on the season, resurrecting a career. Moreno's going to be stopped for a loss on this play.
Mike Mitchell.
Our aerial coverage tonight presented by America's Navy. As you look in, nice night in Oakland, California. Just not a good night so far for the home team as they're trying to snap a 5-game losing skid against the hottest team in the NFL. The Broncos riding a 7-game winning streak.
What did Peyton say about the whole thing with Stokely? He said, I got 2 basketball tickets to Duke, North Carolina, and it kind of bribed them to come run routes.
Yeah, and he said you can't just do it one day, and I don't want you pulling a hamstring because if you want to go to the basketball game, you got to work. Hand off, and Knowshon Moreno decked after about a yard gain and some extracurricular activity taking place. A frustrated Raiders team right now with a little over 8 minutes to go in the game.
You know, Brad, I think it's a done deal that one of those rookie quarterbacks will win the Rookie of the Year. But I think you got to kind of put an asterisk next to the season that the tailback from Boise had, Doug Martin.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty special. Helped resurrect that Tampa Bay team.
Look at this group, though.
That's still in the hunt.
That's pretty impressive.
We're going back to what, 1983 with that quarterback group, the other group?
Exactly.
And one of those guys up in the press box, right?
That's right.
Elway?
John Elway.
Another one of those guys you work with on Saturdays.
That's right. Todd Blackledge, Dan Marino and the rest. 7:43 remaining timeout. 15 years from now, we'll be talking about this group still. Pretty impressive group of rookie quarterbacks. And 3 of those guys still very much in the playoff hunt.
I think it's as impressive a group of rookie quarterbacks as I've ever seen, including the 83 group.
After the timeout, 3rd down and 11. Manning, penalty marker down, probably a holding call coming against the Broncos. Lamar Houston was getting some nice pressure off the edge.
Holding offense, number 74. That penalty's declined. Brings up 4th down.
And declined the penalty and forced the punt.
Really good coverage. Old-fashioned 3-deep zone, and Houston got the pressure.
Remember, one of those touchdowns for the Broncos was a gift after the fumble at the 2-yard line. You take that away, and I got to give the Raiders defense credit. They've been out there a lot tonight.
Yep.
They've played their tails off.
66 plays already, and I think Jason Tarver had a pretty good plan. They got to Peyton Manning, 3 sacks, but all in the first half.
Let loose, let loose.
Colquitt, high arching punt. Moore takes the catch at the 6. And got buried at about the 13. 7 minutes, 26 seconds remaining in this one. Broncos in control, 26-7. Dennis Allen, the first-year head coach of the Raiders. This is the scene during the national anthem. I will guarantee you what he was thinking about during that national anthem. His dad, Grady, passed away earlier this week. Had a 5-year career in the late 60s, early 70s with the Atlanta Falcons. Unexpectedly passing away, and it's been a terribly tough week on the Raiders staff and on Dennis and his mom and his family. And to come out here and coach tonight, and came back. We weren't sure he's even going to get back till this morning. He came back yesterday and came in, spoke with us, and told us, guys, we said, Coach, you don't have to spend time with us if you don't want to. You got better things to do. And he said, it's part of the job. It's part of life. And we just, our condolences to he and his family over the loss of his dad. Kreiner, the completion pickup of 17 with just over 7 minutes remaining in the ball game.
Yeah, Dennis Allen's a class act, and again, he and Reggie McKenzie, I think, and I'm a big believer that the success ultimately of every team in this league is how well and your general manager and head coach are tied at the hip philosophically, and I think Dennis and Reggie are.
Here comes a blitz. And McFadden trying to run through that blitz. Did a pretty good job of it. Mike Adams made the tackle, but he picked up 6 yards. There's Reggie.
Yeah. And you want to talk about a guy that played for Oakland, a true Raider, and trained at Green Bay under Ted Thompson, one of the better GMs in the league. So, you know, if ever a guy was equipped to step in here, I keep saying to all the fans, time and patience.
Yep, I was going to say that's what you said 3 hours ago, and it bears repeating. You can't turn it all around in a half a season. Complete on the pass, Jerron Kreiner again.
You know, I came in here, Brad, I wanted to see just exactly what the challenge was. And if you take a look, since 04, they've had 6 picks in the top 8 of the draft. Out of all 6 of those players, I would make the argument that not one of them should have been a top 10 or a top 15 pick. They're not franchise-type players. And when you walk into that type of situation as a new GM and head coach, you've got to understand that you're at the bottom area of personnel in this league.
Palmer fires, completes. Hayward Bay with a move. There he is, Hayward Bay off to the races. They're not going to get him. Touchdown, Oakland.
I guess he wasn't happy with that graphic.
So the Raiders aren't quite dead yet. 56-yard touchdown pass.
You got to go for 2 here, don't you, to get it to 11? Yeah, there it is. You got to go for 2 to get it to 11. Heck of a job. They pick up blitz. Marcel Reese gets a piece. The ball comes out. And then Hayward Bay does the rest. Missed tackle. Great cutback. And remember, this is a 4-3-5 guy. Get the ball in open spaces and he can run.
Good yards after catch on that one by Hayward Bay to cap off a 56-yard touchdown pass. And now they go for 2.
Make it 11 and a touchdown with a 2-point conversion and a field goal. Good football.
You got the slice. Is that hot? Wait, 90. What's up?
For 2. The fade to the corner to Moore, and he got it.
They give it to him out of bounds. 1 foot down, I thought.
The official was right there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's only 1 foot in. Catch 1.
Whoa.
Yep. And right into our cameraman, Don.
Way to take a charge, Don.
Great job by Don.
Wake up with NFL AM, the only morning show dedicated to the NFL. Tomorrow morning, Bengals running back Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis joins us to talk about their matchup with the Cowboys. That and a lot more. NFL AM tomorrow and every weekday, 6 a.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network. Onside kick coming or not? Oh, here it comes. And it's going to be covered by Tammy, the tight end. So the Broncos will take over with 5:35 remaining. Denver up by 13. Partner, about 3 hours ago, I asked you at 9-3, soon to be 10-3, it appears. Are the Broncos a Super Bowl type team? What's your answer now?
I told you before the game emphatically I thought they were a contender for a Super Bowl. And again, I've watched a lot of tape. I like seeing them live. When you've got Peyton Manning as your quarterback, first of all, that gives you a chance in every single football game you play. As long as they continue to run the football and don't give up big plays on defense, yeah, it's a wide open race in this AFC, man.
And they've done a nice job running the football tonight with Knowshon Moreno for the most part. Here he is again. And he's got 4 more yards to tack on to his total. I know it's been a while since Knowshon carried the ball this many times in a football game, but he's had a fine night.
Yeah, you know, and I liked him coming out of Georgia, and I thought he ran the ball extremely hard. You mentioned earlier he had a major knee injury right away in his NFL career, but this is his opportunity to shine. And if Ronnie Hillman can come in and be that change of pace guy, then they got a little something going.
Raiders show blitz. Peyton just calmly backpedals. Identifies who the middle linebacker is and works the clock down to 4 seconds. Moreno's got a first down run.
Yep.
Eric Decker got a nice lead block and a pickup of 8.
You know, Brad, you mentioned, we're talking about the playoff picture, the AFC picture specifically. And, I don't think we talked last week about Atlanta, and I don't think they get the credit they deserve. And in the AFC, I don't think Houston. No. I mean, it's hard to go 11-1 in this league. And, the Texans are at New England. We're going to find out a little something this weekend about both those teams. And then they play Indy 2 of the next 3 weeks. So Indy at 8-4 is going to have an opportunity to earn their way into the playoffs. But I would say that Houston at this point should be the de facto leader in the clubhouse.
Moreno, again, no gain on that play, but the clock, more importantly, goes down near 4 minutes.
No shot, Moreno.
And the Raiders
Timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
with the timeout. And the NFC playoff picture Mike was talking about, we had the Falcons last week and their win at home over the New Orleans Saints. And even though they won that game by 10 points, a lot of people are still sleeping on Atlanta, saying, I don't, they're 11-1, but hey, how are they doing it?
Right.
I don't care. They only got one
Exactly.
loss.
And if they win 2 of the last 4, they're guaranteed home field throughout. And that's very attainable given their schedule with at Carolina, the Giants, at Detroit, and Tampa Bay. So, I look at those teams in the hunt. It's kind of interesting. Washington at 6-6, Dallas, Tampa Bay. It ain't over yet, especially with Chicago and all the injuries they're having.
No shot made. The first guy miss.
Yeah, but
Picked up
Eric
2 or
Decker.
3, but another flag flies in.
Eric Decker had a late hold. He was trying to crack on. I couldn't tell who it was, but it might have been Joselio Hansen or Tyvon Branch.
We gave Decker credit for the last block.
Holding. Offense, number 87.
Yeah.
10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
So we'll take it back.
To see him coming in, and at the very end, he's got his arms around him. He slips and he pulls him down.
Grabs his jersey.
Yep. San Francisco has got to play at New England in Week 15, and then a huge one when San Francisco goes out to Seattle in Week 16. So Seattle, again, is another interesting team. These last 4 weeks with all the division rivalry games are really going to be fun.
And we'll see how Kaepernick handles the noise out in Seattle. Always a really nice place to play.
Yeah, we need to talk about that whole Kaepernick thing.
Here's the stretch. No shot, Moreno into the secondary. His 28th rushing attempt of the night, a career high, and a pickup of 16 on that 28th carry.
Yeah, and Zane Beadles, the left guard, pulled out and got the key block on Tyvon Branch, and it was wide open. And again, if they can continue to run the football effectively, here comes Beadles. Tyvon Branch says, uh-oh, easy cut up, and I thought there might have been a horse collar right there at the very end by Tyvon Branch, reaching on the back while he let go there.
Yeah, he let go and wrapped him up, but now before no shot got.
Hey, nice night, son. I like that, huh?
No doubt about it. 107 yards and a touchdown. And if he keeps playing like that, it's going to make Denver that much more dangerous come playoff time.
And Hillman went 4 for 24, so 32 rush attempts for 131 yards. That's a really good night.
They came in 22nd in the league with just 103 yards on the ground per game, so they'll take a night like this anytime. 3rd down and 5. Peyton, the quick slant completes. Demarius Thomas has got a first down.
Ronald Bartel, if you're going to press, you've got to compete up there. You can't just open the door to the slant. 2nd or 3rd time tonight, Demarius Thomas is just beating him inside.
I told you he's on his way to his 70th career 300-yard passing game. Well, he's got it now.
Now watch that left foot. Opened up again, let him inside. That's a lack of confidence. You got to be confident in your technique and follow through.
So far this year, Peyton's thrown for 648 yards in the 2 games against the Raiders. First time around, he had 3 touchdown passes. Tonight, only 1, along with 1 interception.
Let's talk about Kaepernick. What do you think? It's a hot button right now, isn't it?
The conventional wisdom thing would have been that Alex Smith, after being injured, comes back and gets a job, but nothing Jim Harbaugh does is conventional. I'll leave the wisdom part out of that, but it's not conventional. What do you think about it? They're over there someplace in San Francisco.
Yeah, over there, and Harbs in San Francisco sitting back and You know, my heart and soul is kind of with Alex Smith. I think he's earned it. He went to the NFC Championship game last year. I didn't think he did anything to lose the job. Now, having said that, I also understand what Jimmy's trying to do. They drafted Kaepernick in the second round for a reason. They think they can use his legs in the quarterback run game. They think he has a bigger arm. Therefore, they think their potential offensively is greater. The ceiling is higher with Kaepernick.
Those 2 road games are tough. We'll find out what the kid's made out of.
Yep. But I still think Alex Smith is going to have to play some football this year. I really do.
Decker again comes in tight to be a blocker. And trying to move the pile. The pile is moving. Wow. I don't know. That might end up being a first down. Didn't think it was going to be, that's for sure.
Yeah, Virgil Green, the third-team tight end, was pushing and shoving, and that was pretty good stuff.
Let's see where they spot this thing. Because the Raiders are out of timeouts, and they say a foot short. 4th. 2.5 to play, and the Raiders again can't stop it except the 2-minute warning. So it's 3rd down and a foot. And second effort gets that foot and a couple more yards for Knowshon Moreno. And Payton says that's just about going to ice things. Let's go talk it over at the 2-minute warning. Thursday night football from Oakland. And the Broncos on the road en route to their 10th win of the season. Thursday night football is brought to you by T-Mobile. Test drive our nationwide 4G network. And by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. Rich Eisen is not in the black hole, but he's on the side of the field.
I'm awful close, Brad. Awful close. We were awful close to the postgame show. We'll hear from Peyton Manning. We shall do that. Please stay tuned. See you in a couple minutes.
We will see you in 2 minutes after Peyton takes a few knees here. And the milestones of just one night keep piling up for number 18. We gave you a lot of them as we sort of went along the way. But just tonight, 5,000 career completions. 7th season of 30 or more touchdown passes. 70th 300-yard game, and the 12th season, as I mentioned earlier, of 10 wins or more. Pretty impressive. It was funny. You were talking to him about kind of being recruited and signing as a free agent. He said, well, you know, it is a little bit like college, because when you go in the pros, you can't pick the team you want to go to unless you're Eli. As he does that little aside to us.
That's the big brother deal. Yeah.
But John Elway did a good recruiting job.
Yep.
And the guy that undoubtedly is going to be comeback player of the year is set to put the Broncos to 10-3 with their 8th straight win.
And you know what's nice about a Thursday night win for this team now is that they get a couple extra days because they have to go to Baltimore.
Yeah.
So they get some extra time to prepare for one of the better teams, especially Baltimore at home. Baltimore's hard to beat in Baltimore.
Absolutely. One of the best records since John Harbaugh has been there, trying to beat them on their home field. Knowshon Moreno, 8 rushes on this past drive for 40 yards. Career night for him. And then he sets up his quarterback to just take those knees and end it. The 105th meeting between the Broncos and the Raiders goes to Denver. And they are on an 8-game winning streak. 37 minutes time of possession tonight as 2 old friends, Dennis Allen, who worked with John Fox in Denver last year before coming here as his first year as head coach. And it's a 6-game losing streak for the Raiders, an 8-game winning streak for the Broncos. Final score, 26-13. That'll wrap it up for Mike and Alex and I. But don't forget the Kay Jewelers postgame show with Rich and the guys, featuring highlights, analysis, and Peyton Manning coming up next. Stay with us.